scientific notation, topic 4. Don't forget Lars. We have to make sure that these answers are in final form. Scientific notation, and our mantissa is going to be a number between basically 1 and including 9, and then a decimal point. So let's go for it. When you are adding scientific notation, make sure that exponents match. It's kind of like combining like terms. If they don't match, then you have to Lars it. So remember, Lars means if you move the decimal to the left, you have to add 1 to the exponent, or however many places. And if you go to the right, you subtract. So over here, I ended up moving the decimal 1 to the left, so I had to add 1 to -5 to get -4. Once I have the exponents matching, and if it helps you to think about it like that, like terms again, then you can go ahead and add these, okay, the mantissas, or these constants over here. So I end up with 9.27, and then I hold on to that same exponent. I don't multiply these two together. I hold on to it, just like the like terms from the other video, okay? Over here, I'm subtracting, so I already know I have to have the same exponent in order to subtract them. I had to do a little work here. So notice this was 9 times 10 to the first. So what I had to do is move this over. And I could have moved this one too. It doesn't matter which one you move. But I ended up bringing this, if I added 2 to get 3, then I had to move this one 2 to the left. Then I add these, pardon me, it's a subtraction problem. Then I subtract these two, and I get the difference of 3.41 times 10 to the third. I'm holding on to that same exponent. Okay, number 20. So here, notice that you're multiplying. This is a different story altogether. The exponents don't need to match. Don't match, okay? They don't need to. So you have to use some of your product rules. And then what you do is you multiply the two terms together. So here I got 25.2 times 10 to the 10th, because I added 4 plus 6. Now I have to do Lars on the back end. So I have to, if I look at this number, move this 1 to the left. If I move to the left, I add 1 to here. So that's 10 to the 11th. Kind of looks like a 4, sorry. Okay, hopefully that looks terrible. Is that better? Hopefully. Okay, 21. I am multiplying again. So they are, let's see, 10 to the -7th and -2. Add those together, get -9. And then I'm going to multiply these two decimals together. And I used a calculator actually, and I got this. I moved this one over to the left, so I had to add 1. So -9 plus 1 is -8. 22. I am dividing these now, so don't forget about that little sign. Whatever you can do to bring attention to it. So I am dividing these, so I'm going to subtract the exponents now. So -12 minus 4 is -16, and I go ahead and divide these constants here. I used a calculator, I got 0.975. And notice it's not in the right form. This time I have to go 1 to the right. If I go 1 to the right, I have to subtract 1. So -16 minus 1 is -17. Number 23. I'm just dividing these. This is fancy. I actually like this way better than the previous way. I like when it's in fraction form, if you think about it. Because I can easily, so 5 minus 3, sorry, 5 minus -3 is kind of like saying 5 plus 3, so it's 10 to the 8th. Then I divide these two terms, I calculated it, I got 0.35. I have to move this one to the right. If I move to the right, then I have to subtract 1, so I brought it down to 10 to the 7th. Last but not least, in the scientific notation, we have North America. It has this big area of land. We have Asia. I know that Asia's pretty big and a lot bigger. How much larger is Asia? So this is just a subtraction problem. How many more or larger? All of those are subtraction. So I wrote these out in the correct form. I had to, if I looked over here, 9.4 to 10 to the 6th. I ended up moving this decimal because I wanted to turn this into a 7th, 10 to the 7th to match Asia. So I moved this one to the left, and then so I had to add one, so that became 10 to the 7th. I subtracted these two, because now I have like terms. I subtracted these, and I got 0.8 times 10 to the 7th. Now remember, that's not in the correct form. I actually need to move this over one to the right, and then I have to subtract it. So the answer is that. Good night.